Jesus reminds me I belong to him. This is who I am. I'm rescued and redeemed. I was purchased by the Lamb, forgiven and set free. Sin has been defeated, a new life's been created. Everything I have is in his hands. This is who I am.
It looks like you're too fast. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to all of you.
Hi
so
there,
good
everybody.
to see everyone. Hey, so good to see everybody. I'm going to begin with a prayer like I always do. And then we'll talk about what we're going to talk about. Dear Lord, I just want to thank you for this opportunity that you've given us tonight to gather together and to bring glory to you, Lord, and to magnify your name and to remember those who lost their lives and those who lost loved ones 22 years ago. And so I just pray that you'll be with us tonight in spirit. Your spirit will be with us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
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 All right. Hello, everybody. I want to start out by saying Mr. Buckingham gives us his regrets, but he won't be able to join us tonight because he works at night and he wasn't able to sleep today. So he's hopefully, Lord willing, he's sleeping now. So anyway, tonight I wanted to talk about, yesterday was the 22nd anniversary of the 9/11 event. And I still remember it. It's one of those, when something like that happens, you never forget it. And it's always stands out as a day that's just unlike any other that you've ever experienced. And so I want to start by sharing my experience. And then some of you can join in and share your experience on that day. Because I'd love to hear how your 9/11 went, just as I want to share how my 9/11 went. Anyway, it was started out as a regular day at the post office. I was in the office working, and we always would take our break around 8:30, 8:45, something like that. I can't remember exactly what time I went into the break room, but I do know one thing. When I went into the break room, there was a group of people gathered around the TV that was in the room. And so naturally, I wanted to see what they were looking at. And I go over there and look at the screen, and I see the World Trade Center on fire. I'm like, what? What is this real? Is this a movie? No, I mean, and we were all just watching it. And of course, the news people were still baffled. They were still like, what's going on? What's going on? We don't know what's going on. And while we were in there watching it, of course, the speculation was that a plane accidentally struck the first tower because it had only been the first one at that point. And so, how could he have not seen that building? It was no fog, very high visibility. How did he not see it? And so we're all talking about this. And around that time, here comes the second plane. The second tower gets struck. And then we knew it wasn't an accident. Then we knew it had to be intentional. And, sadly, unfortunately for me, I couldn't just hang around the TV all day. I had to get to work. I had to go back out. And get my route ready, load my truck and go. But I left thinking, my mindset was that they were going to get the fires out eventually, and that the buildings would be eventually repaired, and that life would get back to normal eventually. I knew that some people had obviously died, but, I of course, I had no idea. So anyway, I'm out there thinking that they're going to get the fires out. It'll be all right. I'm out there thinking that. And so I didn't have a radio with me. And this was before the day of this was before smartphones. So I had no way of keeping up with what was going on other than people on my route would give me updates as I'm going along the route. One lady, the first update I got, she said, "Have you been following what's going on?" I said, yeah, I saw that 2 planes hit the World Trade Center. I saw that. She said, "Well, now the Pentagon's been hit." I said, "Excuse me?" "The Pentagon's been hit." And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And I'm just like, I'm calling my mom. She was getting her hair done while it happened. I think her hairdresser had the TV on, had it on the news, and here I am not knowing what's happening, and I'm working in very close proximity to Dobbins Air Force Base in Marietta, and I'm thinking, a nuclear bomb could come down on that base, and that's it, game over. And I mean, at that point, anything seemed possible. And so, I get a little further along the route, and a guy stops me at his box. "Are you following what's going on?" I said, "Well, I'm trying to, but I don't have a radio." "Well, the World Trade Center just collapsed." "What?" "Yeah, man, the World Trade Center is on the ground." I said, "What?" "Come on in my living room and look at my TV." And so I did. I went in there and looked at his TV for a few minutes, and I was just looking at the smoldering rubble of the World Trade Center and not believing what I'm seeing. And, of course, I have to go back and continue working. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. Let's look at these comments. So I took lunch that day at McDonald's. And so I'm in McDonald's, and it's the quietest I've ever seen a McDonald's be. The only time people spoke was to place their orders. "Oh, hey, Aiden, come on in, buddy." They would place their order, and they'd go sit down, and they'd eat quietly. I think that entire day we were all in a state of shock. I mean, I was working, but my mind was elsewhere. My mind was like, what is happening? And so all I wanted to do is hurry up and finish my route and go home and turn on the television, which I did. And well, that was how 9/11 went for me. So if any of you would like to, of course, I had friends calling me, "Hey, is it the end of the world? Is the world? I'm scared of the end of the world." I said, "No, look, please calm down. Don't panic. It's not the end of the world." But I had several friends just call me all panicking, and I had to try to calm them down. But if anyone else would like to share your experiences, I'll go ahead and I'll mute myself, and somebody else can.
Stump looks like a terrorist. I would love to know where he was on 9/11.
Wow, that's a pretty serious accusation.
Actually, Aiden's the only foreigner on the panel right now, so you may investigate him also.
Well, I have a pretty let's just say ethnically correct name, so I think that I'm pretty okay as far as that's concerned. Let's just say it's a pretty Anglo-Saxon name, and I think we can leave it at that. I think I'm pretty okay as far as being on a watch list is concerned.
Yeah, you would have been a baby at that time, wouldn't you? You would have been.
Yes, I would have only been. I wouldn't have even been a year old yet. I would have been less than a year old on September 11th, 2001.
And that's why I told Jeremiah when he said he couldn't be here. I said, well, I was going to talk to people about your 9/11 experiences, and so obviously you don't have any. So maybe
No, I don't have any direct experience at all. I mean, like, I've definitely looked into it a lot after the fact. I think it's, and I'll just say this real quick. I know it's real rare for me to actually say something quickly, but I'll try my best. I think that a lot of people like your guys' age assume that people like us forget about 9/11 because we don't necessarily observe the day in the same way that you guys do. And I
Yeah,
think
I
that
don't
that's
think.
kind of, I think that that's, and I'm not saying that's everybody that thinks that, by the way, but
Yeah,
I've definitely heard that sentiment a lot.
yeah. I
Um,
have to. Well, I
and
wasn't alive. Sorry, I wasn't alive during World War II, and I was just a little baby during most of Vietnam. So, but yet I've studied both of them extensively. So,
yeah, no, I was actually, it's really poignant that you made that remark, actually, because I was actually just about to reference the factor I am that,
yeah,
like I don't observe 9/11 the same way that somebody who is alive during something like Pearl Harbor would
yeah,
observe,
yeah.
December 7th or
Yeah,
something
I
like
don't either.
that.
I
And
don't. I wasn't here. I wasn't alive when Kennedy was assassinated either. But I know people like my mom and people that remember that day like it was yesterday. Same with I think I was born the same year that MLK was assassinated, and so I have no memory of that either. But I know there's people. But
Mr.
anyway,
Charles, what were you doing on 9/11?
I was actually off and I had just woken up and I had a TV in my bedroom and the news was on and the very first thing this sounds dramatic but true. And I'm just waking up, blurry eyed, and there goes this plane crashing into the building. I'm going, what is going on? And I start calling friends. So
mhm.
yeah, it was pretty intense.
I bet you were called back in to work that day, huh?
No, actually, I was told this is oh yeah. Actually, we had a memorial service the next day.
Mhm.
Might have been even the day after that because we wanted to get all everything sorted out. The facts.
Hmm.
So,
Not only that, but I mean, America also largely shut down on September 11th as well. Like
Oh
all
yeah,
of the major services, not just in
they
New York, but all around the country, just totally shut down.
they had to
yeah,
ground hundreds
yeah,
of planes.
yeah. The only planes you saw in the sky were fighter jets, if you guys remember those that were
Yeah,
alive.
Not only
yeah,
that, but like scores of people would literally refuse. Like they would just say, "I don't know what's going to be attacked next. I live somewhere that could be attacked next.
Exactly,
I got to
exactly.
go home. I don't want to be here." So
yeah.
it's one of those rare instances where social panic literally filters down to the level where people are going, "No, I'm just going to abandon my post and get out of here because I don't want to be here if things go down." And
Right.
that's a scary thing to think about. Absolutely, I think that the reason why 9/11 was such a big paradigm shift, at least like to sum it up like to its essence,
Mm-hmm.
is because America for so long at that point had just been the hegemon of everything, the progenitor of all of the power that there was all across the world, and it was just basically viewed as invincible, more or less.
Yeah,
Nothing could ever attack America directly, let alone, a group of people domestically attacking it from within.
How dare
So
they
yeah,
attack us? They wish to remain as part of the world, geographic part of the world, and they attack us?
yeah. I mean, because we even went through World War II without any direct attacks on the mainland, other than Pearl Harbor. Hawaii wasn't yet a state at the time, so it wasn't really
Right.
considered part of America at the time. And the only thing, I don't know if you guys are aware of the Japanese balloon bombs that were sent over, but
Yes, yes.
yeah, they
they
killed a couple of people, didn't they?
they killed
Right,
like a family or something. They
right.
killed a few people that went over to investigate one, and it blew up. That was it. That was it. So we didn't go through what Britain and Germany and all those went through that had their cities bombed.
Yeah.
You know,
Last time that happened to you guys was 1812. So
yeah, 1812, the
Well,
British came in and they
9/11.
tore down.
Pearl
Yeah,
Harbor.
yeah,
well, I
but like
mean
I
Pearl
said,
Harbor, but like Ryan pointed out, it wasn't necessarily directly a state at that point. It also was like right smack dab in the middle of the biggest body of water
Well,
on the
it's not part
planet.
of our mainland, but it was still very
Right.
much American.
it,
Like when we lost
it,
Pearl Harbor, nobody thought, that's just Hawaii.
well,
That
no,
was
no one
like,
thought
no,
that.
that was America. That was American soil they
No,
insulted.
no one thought that. But it's not the same as if you're in Britain and London is getting bombed.
Oh, of course not.
It's
No,
not
of
the
course
same
not.
category. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
something like
even.
the Blitz never happened.
Yeah,
in
I can't
America.
even imagine living in Britain during the Blitz. I'm
But
serious.
even then, though, it wouldn't be the War of 1812. It'd be the American Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah. The American Civil War still is to this day our most devastating war that we've ever fought.
It
was
leveled Atlanta. It leveled all of South Carolina.
Yeah.
It was the most devastating war in human history up until that point. It wasn't surpassed until the First World War, I believe. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think you may be right there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it
as
was,
far as American deaths, it didn't even surpass then. I'm just talking American deaths.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. World War II, we didn't even lose
Also,
as many.
interestingly enough, like one of the wars that actually gave Japan the military doctrine, or at least the ideas for the military doctrine that they themselves innovated on and used against the Americans in the Second World War, was the Japanese actually really employing ideas from the American Civil War in ways that the other European powers didn't necessarily pay attention to in the same way.
Right.
Like ideas of using railroads and machine gun tactics in the ways that Europeans weren't necessarily employing, because like things like the Gatling gun had just arrived on the scene and were just beginning to actually like be employed in one or two sort of
That's
instances.
the interesting thing about the American Civil War and why it was so bloody. That's the war where we invented mines. We invented the grandfather of the machine gun and even the submarine through the Merrimack and the Monitor. Like the amount of carnage we created during that war.
The Merrimack and Monitor were not submarines. They were ironclad.
They were the grandfathers of the
Yeah,
submarine.
they were the grandfathers of today's battle.
If you ask 99% of the world, who do you think invented the first submarine? They're probably going to go, oh, the Germans or the British. And then they'll go, nah, it's just some good old boys in Mobile, Alabama. They'll be like, I don't think so.
Well, look,
Hold on a second.
even in the Revolutionary War, we had
He was
come
a
up
good
with a
old boy.
device that looked like an acorn, and it
Yeah, it had
submerged
like a
all the way
drill.
to the
There's a-
top, and it had
I
a
mean,
turning
I
that
don't
you
know.
could
That
go up
wa-
to ships and screw
I don't
holes in it.
quite
Like,
consider it a
that's
submarine
an
at that
American
point.
invention, and you're welcome.
Yeah, let's try not to talk
Aiden,
over
those
each-
acorn submarines are coming to take Canada very soon.
Christian,
Yeah, try to be
you better
careful not-
watch out, all right? You don't understand what we've got cooked up for you lot over there, all right? You think that Switzerland, like I
We
know
don't
that it's like
understand
well known.
anything that you guys cook. Aiden,
Okay, Christian, you know how I don't know if you know this, but like Switzerland is really famous for having like every single like bridge and entryway in the whole country mined and like dynamited. So if anybody tries to go into the country, they just like completely block any sort of conventional access. Yeah. We've got that the whole border. We've just got like a whole line of napalm just ready to go. And I'm not talking like slow, I'm not talking like quick burning napalm like they use in Vietnam. Now we're talking stuff that's going to burn for like 2 weeks straight. And you're not going to be able to step a toe in this country. We're going to go ahead, cross the line. Cross the line, go through the giant wall
nobody
of
does
napalm. Give it a try.
invasions anymore.
Canada has napalm ready to go up. He said.
Well, I was okay. Well, maybe I've spoken too much. I might have to leave. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Ryan, can you delete this stream? Ryan,
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Aiden, trust me when I say on behalf of the entire United States, we don't want y'all. We voted one time to make Canada a state, and unanimously we were like, you know what? What about Mexico instead?
Proverbs, what?
and then you failed in both of those. But yeah, I mean, at least you got Texas, right?
That's right.
I would give
I mean,
Texas
sure,
and
we got it from
California
a
back.
society that was literally falling apart because it was constantly fighting within itself. But yeah, we sure did get Texas, boy.
Look, I just said I would give Texas back if they promised to take and keep California too.
Well, I don't know. That's a pretty significant
fair.
loss. That's like
No,
a good
not a
like
loss.
fifth of the whole GDP of the country right
It
there. It's
depends
pretty-
on how you look at
Man.
it as a loss.
I think it's the fifth largest
mind leaving
GDP in the
California.
world.
is California, yeah, and then I think Texas is like the 9th or 10th or something like that. Like it's
Yeah.
not insignificant on its own.
Right.
The GDP
Christian,
is
he ran
impressive,
away.
but
He
the
was
amount of debt that they collect for us
Christian
as a
Pike
state
runs away.
is also unreal. So I think it would balance out.
Does anyone else want to share their experience? A Proverbs guy, you would have been in elementary school then, wouldn't you?
I was older than that. I was born in '89. I was
Okay.
like 11 or 12, and
Okay.
I
Your
was
thoughts were short. Your
12.
hair was long.
Yeah, no. But I remember waking up early to watch cartoons, and I turned on the TV, and it seemed like every station was showing the same thing because I couldn't find cartoons, so I just left it on that. And I was the first one up in the house, and I had this erector set, and I had made a tower while I was watching TV alone, and I had made a paper airplane and stuck it in the top because I didn't comprehend fully like what was going on. I thought it was an
Yeah.
accident.
Yeah.
And my mom's family's from New York, and
Yeah.
I knew that New York was under attack, so I went and woke my parents up and told them New York was on fire. So they jumped out of
Steven,
bed, and it was right in time for the second plane to hit. And I remember my dad saying, "We're going to war."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot you were homeschooled, weren't you?
Yep. At that
Okay. So
point, yeah,
'cause I was wondering why you would have not been in school yet, but if you're
yeah,
homeschooled, that's why.
yep.
Okay. Anybody else faithful or stump?
Sure.
Yeah.
Where was I on that day? I had an international guest staying in my home. Whoops, wait a minute. Gotta adjust something here.
Steven, do you realize that you created one of probably, if not the first, then one of the first ever 9/11 dioramas? Given the story that you just told, and I promise I'm not trying to make a joke out of that. I'm really not. But that is true, given what you said.
I'm
Quite
just
frankly,
sharing my experience of what happened on 9/11. I don't think it's funny or
I agreed
jestful.
with
I think
that.
a
I
lot of people
agreed.
got hurt that day.
I agree.
I wish at that
Absolutely.
age I had comprehended what was going on.
I just
when
find it interesting that you created a very early rendition of the event. That's all.
Yeah. Truthfully, I guess I did.
Faithful was in the process of trying to give us her
I'm sorry,
experience.
Faithful.
oh,
No, that's my bad.
listen,
I'm sorry.
no, you fellas are fine. You let me hang out in what I consider to be the
The
man
man
cave.
cave, you say that.
Although, each one of the broadcasts are different.
Uh-huh.
It's interesting that Aiden picked up on that, Stephen, because I thought about that and I thought about, that would be a typical child response to
Yeah.
something like this, to be able to recreate what they just saw.
Hmm.
And I didn't take it as funny. I don't think anyone did, but that would be the typical thing a child would see is an airplane going
Mhm.
into a building. Let's build one. Uh, that I turned my speaker up. I mean, I turned my volume up, so I hope you can hear me. That particular day, I had an international guest staying in my home because I was going to a church that was an international ministry, and he was from India, a bishop from India, and we were just stepping into the office of the home church for the AWCF. And as we walked in, the chairman, current chairman, had the television on in his outside office. He had two different ones, and there was like a sliding glass window, like you see in some offices. And through that, we saw him have that on, and the twin towers were on fire. As we walked into his office, because he was expecting us, uh, we saw the plane go into the second one, and we wondered what the heck was going on. And of course, he's from India, a guest in from India. So it was a very interesting conversation that happened. All of the events of the day, I was busy with him and other business. We didn't sit in front of the television like most people did. Something that I did not hear mentioned was the twin towers were mentioned. The Pentagon was mentioned. I didn't hear anyone comment about the fourth airplane.
Yeah, I think that was later on that was found out, wasn't it?
Well, it was the same day.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And the fourth airplane, there was a man, I can't recall his name right now. I can only remember what he said, let's roll.
Yeah.
And he somehow, I don't remember the whole account of it, because it came on that this plane crashed, and his now widow got on and was telling about it, that he was on the phone with her, and um, that he had said that the plane had just been hijacked, and that they were deciding what they as passengers would do. And at that point, there was the statement that everybody remembers, and I remember that as much of that day as I do the second plane going into the towers. I remember the statement later that day, "Let's roll," and I'm thinking that is actually the mentality of where the United States used to be, not necessarily are now, as far as caring about our country. There's too much of the we talk about the right and the left. Let's talk about right and left regarding a spiritual aspect. There's too much left and not enough right, just meaning the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. There's so much of that that's so prevalent. But I remember that day, and I remember thinking, that man and the people on that plane, everyone remembers the Twin Towers, they remember the Pentagon, but this is a aircraft that was headed somewhere else. And those of us that
Faithful, I have to interrupt you just for a moment. Bubblegum, if we get into the controversial stuff, you're leaving. I do not want to get into a discussion about the controversies and the conspiracy theories. We're not going to talk about conspiracy theories tonight. That's for another night. No, don't say, if you say anything else, conspiracy theory. Is it possible to remove someone from?
Oh, buddy, my finger's been itching.
Okay, so you've
Well,
seen
ever
this
since I came in, yeah. Well, if you have to hover,
No, you're good tonight. You've been cool.
so you've
Sweet.
seen Bubblegum comments. Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to get us flagged in the algorithm, but no more than every time we say Kent Hovind.
okay, sorry. Go ahead, Faithful. Continue, Faithful.
you can take care of that by using initials of KH. Anyway, but that's I remember those people that were heroes. I remember the firemen and the policemen that were running into a building, not away from it. I remember seeing bodies fall from the Twin Towers,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking the devastation of life that we had that day, and what caused that. And as I pondered it over the years, and I thought it was longer ago than 22 years, because these last 22 years have seemed like 50. It seems as though that was the beginning of something. And what year was that?
2001.
That was in 2000. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
I thought that it was back in the 90s. So
Oh, no.
there was a lot that transformed in the United States since 2001. Since 2001, there's been a lot that has transformed in this lady that's 8 decades. It's only 24. And I think a lot of people have changed their viewpoints, whether they were for the positive or the negative. You mentioned something earlier that you asked somebody not to discuss. I understand all of those different theories and so forth. And I think we just need to wait and see how everything plays out where anything else is concerned. I think it was the first time in my lifetime that the homeland was attacked. And you mentioned Pearl Harbor. And then it was strictly the harbor itself. It was not the homeland. It was strictly the water that was attacked. If I remember correctly, it was the ships. So they were not. They were attacking the United States,
Yeah,
They
they
were
were.
not attacking the land itself
No,
and
that's not correct, Faithful. They
and
did quite a
civilians.
bit of damage on the actual Hawaiian coast. Like a
Yeah,
they even bombed airfields that we had in
yeah,
Hawaii
they did. They bombed
inland.
airfields. They strafed the planes that were on the ground. They, I think they even, well, in the movie, I don't know, they bombed a hospital. I don't know if that happened in real life or not, but they did bomb a lot of the actual on ground facilities. They did.
The point that I was trying to make, though, was not so much. I really didn't realize because I was born during that time, not that particular day, that particular year, but during that time, and I was very, excuse me, I was very young, like most of you were when 9/11 happened. So, what I do recall from Pearl Harbor, though, was they did not attack directly citizens like what happened
Right.
at 9
We talked
11.
about that earlier. It wasn't the same as if like I said, Pearl Harbor technically was an attack on America, but it wasn't the same as if you were an English person and and London was being bombed. It wasn't the same thing, obviously.
Right. I did catch that, but that was my, that's why I'm saying that 9/11 hit everyone so much harder. And
Mhm.
somebody did mention that we've always been considered to be the invincible country.
Yeah.
And now I believe, and I'm going to try to say it so everything is correct. Now we are being invaded from within, from an unseen enemy, and it's a spiritual thing, not a people thing. I do believe that people and their warped way of thinking because of not looking the towards towards Jesus, the creator of the heaven and the earth, and they are looking towards the other area, that what I call the dark one. They are changing everything and the way that they're thinking. They are the ones that are creating the wars. I happen to know that there is a lot that has to be done, and I'll be very careful. I know personally that there is a lot that has to be done with that or is occurring regarding weather patterns and everything else. I'm going to leave that because I don't want anybody flagged. I do know this personally from experience, having watched and seen these things. They're not things I talk about a lot because people do say that I am buying into a blank theory, and the only blank theory is the one that says that it might maybe not real, not necessarily regarding anything that you're not talking about regarding the towers, but regarding weather patterns
Hey,
and so forth.
Faithful. Just
Yes.
to make sure that you don't go on a watch list, I'll just ask something to one of the other panelists real quick.
Well, you can.
Dustin,
I'm on a
are you
watch list
okay?
already. Go ahead.
Dustin, are you currently all right? You look like you've lost a little bit of weight since I last saw you. Your avatar looks a little bit thinner, I've got to admit, than the last time I saw you. So I hope that you're doing okay, only being a nervous system. I don't see a jar behind you. It just kind of seems like you're existing in some sort of white void. So I hope everything's going okay with you right now.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Well,
That's cute.
I was
Yeah.
on my way to pay my rent and I fell into a black hole. So, and what's weird about that is my phone still works. I took a
I
picture.
mean,
This is what I look like in here.
wow. That's pretty phenomenal that you're still able to talk with us right now through a black hole. I'm kind of jealous, honestly, because while you're sitting here having a conversation with us right now, if you look outwards because of the spaghettification that you're going through right now, you can see the actual like entire history thenceforth of the universe occurring right in front of you. So I mean, like, just what's going on right now? Like those eyes look pretty wide open. I don't appear to have eyelids, so I don't know if they have much of a choice besides being wide open. But
The
look,
latest theory I heard was that everything that enters a black hole ends up in the worst place on Earth. So, Dustin, if you wind up in France, will you let us know so we can retrieve you?
Whoa.
I was
Whoa.
thinking
Shots fired.
I was thinking he's getting tremendous cell phone reception.
Oh,
You're lucky
yes.
my fiance is at work right now, Steven.
I was,
That's all I'll
dude,
say.
I was just
Is she
trying to
French?
give Canada some relief.
I mean, she's French Canadian, so that's
That's
Canadian.
my
thing.
fault? All of a
Well,
sudden,
no, I'm
everyone's
just saying, I'm
problems
just
are my
warning you
fault?
that if you start barking up that tree around here, there's going to be issues. That's what's going to happen while she's around. That's all I'm saying. I can't be responsible for her actions.
Look,
That's all I'm saying.
no one
Aiden's
but
mom's
French
a savage, bro.
No one but French
It's my
Canadians
fiance, not my mom.
consider French Canadians to be part French.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please,
tonight was
Dustin.
brought to you by Children of the Promise.
Can you
He
tell
doesn't
us
have
about them?
ears. It's okay.
Children of
Who
the Promise.
are these
brought you-
promised children?
My bad, Aiden.
They are
It's
Nikki
okay.
Shaw and her sons Jacob and Eli. They live in Cedartown, Georgia, and they sing gospel music. And I first met them back in March when they were performing at a church in Woodstock with the three Heath brothers. That's how I met them. And I've seen them about 4 times now, something like that. So, God keeps adding these Christian singing families to my life, which is fine. It doesn't bother me one bit. I do enjoy being friends with these people, and that's why I'm excited about hopefully having the Salves on in the near future. I'm excited about that.
I do think, getting a little bit back to the main topic at hand, I do think it bears mentioning, and it cut me off at any point if I'm going too far or anything like that, because I genuinely don't want to get you guys in trouble, but I do think that it bears mentioning due to actual confirmed documentation that we have from the government, that not that the government was involved in 9/11. I don't think that George Bush did 9/11 or anything like that. I think that that's a ridiculous claim, but I think it's clear that they had an idea that there were indeed terrorists that were planning on orchestrating an attack on American soil using airplanes. And I'm not even saying that that's the government being malicious. It's not even a matter of them being malicious. I just think that they were being incompetent.
Can I just say
who takes out an insurance policy on an insurance policy?
Let me just say quickly for the audience that after this episode is removed by YouTube, you can only find it on our Rumble account.
Sweet.
I'm going to hope it's not removed.
I'm joking.
And,
not sweet. I mean, it's sweet that it's still on Rumble. Sorry, let me be clear.
Aiden brings up a good point that those in government were suspicious that something could happen. And if you'll remember, years before that, I can't remember what year, it might have been 93. It was back when Clinton was president. Someone detonated a bomb in the basement of the World Trade Center, hoping to cause the building to topple.
No, what? That's true though. It happened in 92 or something.
I know that is a historical fact. I just don't think we're allowed to say
the B word.
The B word in building. They're funny, dude. They're funny.
Really?
I'm telling you.
That's a little paranoid. That's a little bit excessive.
Well, I mean, Biggie Smalls must be flagged by YouTube then, because he mentioned that back in 1994 or something like that in one of the songs. So I think Biggie Smalls must have been pre-flagged before YouTube was even a thing.
So I should have said someone planted a boom on the lowest floor of a structure of the world.
You can't do that. Logan's not here.
Oh, you're right.
He's the boom guy.
You're right. I'm sorry.
He's boom boom.
Someone did plant a boom boom in the basement of a thing.
There you go.
So
that could also be considered somebody took a dump. I mean,
Dustin.
All right, Dustin. Remember,
I always appreciate your perspective.
So anyway, they would have known. I'm sure that they knew something was going on, but they weren't able to put everything together. They probably had pieces of the puzzle, but they weren't able to yet put those pieces together. They weren't able to do that quickly enough. So I think, it just took
dollars to fists Dollars to fists, every single one of those people had a visa, and they were well known by the FBI.
What we have to still establish, though, is where Stump was on 9/11 and
Yeah,
where
Stump.
Dustin and Aiden were on 9/11.
That's
Aiden
true.
was supposed
I hope that you can, in fact, prove that you're not a terrorist tonight, because it would be very unfortunate if it did come out later on that you did, in fact, get involved in certain activities. So I hope that that's not the case. Please
Whoa!
provide
It
evidence.
would be
Attacking the
terrible
brown
because
guy. You realize he speaks English, right?
Stump is one of the fan
Steven
favorites.
was the one that made the okay, Dustin, you were not here, but Steven was the original one that levied the accusation
That sounds
that he was
nothing
a
like me.
terrorist. I'm sorry, you're right. You're right.
No, I actually believe that charge. I'm sorry, Steven. You're
Really,
ousted.
Dustin? I've defended you countless times, and this is my repayment? No back
Wow.
scratch?
You are guilty. I know you're guilty. I watched that thing go on.
Oh,
See,
if we're
Dustin
playing
is an
the I know you're
unbiased
guilty
judge.
game.
He's an unbiased judge. He doesn't take no back scratches. He just evaluates the truth.
So,
What
Captain
happened
Stump,
to Stump?
are you still there, Stump?
Stump, are you there? We would like to hear your experience.
Calling
He's in a
Captain
cave
Stump.
right now, in the
Captain
middle of the
Stump.
Middle East. He's trying to reconnect his satellite dish as we speak.
We can move on to another topic if you'd like, if anyone would like to talk about what their church experience was. I had a wonderful church experience on Sunday.
But what about my experience on 9/11 though?
And Dustin's. Dustin was like 42
Dustin,
on
do you want
9/11.
to talk about your
That's
experience?
true. Yeah, that's true. He's like Nelson Muntz or whatever his character is from The Simpsons. He's like 40 years old and still going to elementary school or whatever.
Peter
I'm
Abraham,
joking.
your
That's not
church
actually
experience,
true.
what it was like for
It's
you
not
being
actually
in
true. I'm
Nigeria.
joking.
Peter Abraham,
Anyway,
were you
no.
in Nigeria at that time as well? And I don't know how old you are, but were you old enough to know what was going on when it was happening?
I would say no.
Okay.
Kind of
I'd be
just
curious to see if it was all over the news there, just like it was here,
yeah.
or perhaps it wasn't as considered as big a news story over there. Perhaps.
I guess I had nothing that time. I didn't have anything.
Peter,
Okay.
do you know from your history and everything, do they even say anything? Now, you're in Nigeria.
Yeah,
And you're a young man still. Do you
yeah.
remember anybody even saying anything or making any comments or anything as adults regarding the attack on the Twin Towers that we call 9/11?
No.
Okay.
I'm just
Ladies and gentlemen, it's always an honor to have Ray Cheesefort with us. Sorry, that was.
Hi, Samuel. You're amazing. But thank you, Peter, very much for your comment. And it's always nice to know what might be heard in other countries. And I
yeah.
appreciate you being here. I'm probably going to mute my mic and I might bow out shortly because I have just been exhausted. I donated blood yesterday and I'm still down, and I have a meeting tomorrow at 1.
Take care.
Okay.
I'm
well,
also
thank
going to
you.
be part of the musical chairs and rotate my way out. But everybody take care.
It's
Have a
been
good
nice
rest of
to
your
chat
night.
with
Aiden,
everyone.
you can't leave. We haven't had our dramatic gown scene.
Oh, I'm sorry. Every time I'm on here, I'm supposed to do something dramatic. Steven, you're a poop head. Steven, you're a real poop head, and I don't like you.
Aiden,
I
this
hate
is the
you.
last time I'm going to warn you. I'm going to ban you. Oh, no.
Oh man, I'm really upset now. I gotta go.
I'll chime in
Can't we all
for
just get
Logan.
along?
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom. But we have two new people that just joined us. We have, of course, our brother Samuel, and also someone I really don't know very well. Seth 747 is with us, and like I said, I don't believe I've spoken to you before. Maybe I have, Seth.
No, I haven't come on any of these. Thanks
Okay,
for
well, we're
having
glad
me,
that
Bill.
you're quite welcome, Seth. Now
Thanks.
you seem like you're a young guy. Were you around back when 9/11 happened?
Yeah, I was. I remember that day, but I just have the pictures in my mind. I don't really remember exactly how I was thinking.
Yeah. So you were probably just maybe just a small child at the time.
Yeah, I was probably like 13.
Okay. And I know that Samuel wasn't even on the planet yet, were you? You weren't even on the planet, and that's the reason why I told Jeremiah, it's okay. You weren't on the planet when it happened either. So, but
Wow.
yeah, it was. If you saw the beginning of the show where I talked about my experience, it was unlike any other day I've ever experienced. Just a day of somberness and dread and uncertainty and sadness, really, and frighteningness, fright. It was a day of all those things. And I will say this: that one thing that I saw when I came home and finally got the TV on, and I was finally watching the TV. That's when my Structure 7 came down. I saw that live on the air. That when Structure 7, I'm trying. I guess the damage
I think you can say
Structure that
Tower
went
7.
down without any damage whatsoever.
Guys, it's 9/11 Memorial Night, so pretty much if we talk about London Bridge falling down, you should know what we're talking about. That bridge in London that fell down on 9/11.
Yeah, I saw that live on the air, and I thought it was so weird. I said, "Why did that one go down?" I think everybody was thinking it, and of course, we don't want to get into the conspiracies tonight. I think that's for another night. But at the same time, it was weird to see that building go down. It really was. So anyway, so Seth, can you tell us something about you? This is your first time coming into a live stream?
Where are you from, Seth? I saw in the comments section that you said you would love to be involved with America, but that your country had more promising politics at the time.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I think my country has more hope right now, but like, you never know, really. But I mean, America's way better. Like, they have way more opportunity. But here in Canada, we got Pierre Poilievre. He seems like a guy with very good judgment, and so and he's getting a lot of support and reputation. So I have hope for that. But in America, I don't see much happening right now. But I haven't really watched any of the debates or anything. So.
Okay, you have to go, Proverbs guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Seth.
Seth, did I hear you say? Seth, did I hear you say Canada?
Yeah, I think I might have said that. Yeah, I'm from Canada.
Okay, Aiden, who just left, I don't know if you've seen him or if you've ever seen him on any of the lives. He's from Canada. Ryan, do you mind if I ask him another question? How is it that you?
I was just going to add real quick. Aiden lives in Canada's best province, which is Alberta. I'm just kidding.
I live in Alberta too, but I actually prefer British Columbia. So there you go.
Can I ask you what city in Alberta? Well,
Calgary.
Okay. So you're close to Aiden. You two should become.
Wait a minute. He lives in Calgary.
He lives in Strathmore. He lives in a suburb of Calgary.
Oh, so Strathmore.
Strathmore, I believe. Yeah, you two are really close to each other. You should become friends. Okay, I'm sorry.
Bro, Ryan, I am never telling you a secret.
What?
Hey, also, if you're ever visiting in Washington,
Dustin, he has shared that information with us.
Okay. I thought that was on the DL. He told me that one time when we were in an argument.
Oh, did he? I thought that when he showed us his grandfather's home, I thought he told us basically where it was. If I said too much, I apologize.
I have no friends, so there you go.
If you ever see Aiden on the show, you might want to connect with him just because you are from a common country. May I ask you this question? How is it you came by this stream? I'm always curious how people come to find the stream.
Kent Hovind, of
How
course.
are we so popular in France?
This guy's in Canada.
He's in Canada, though.
And the answer to why so many Canadians watch us is because they're always trying to piggyback off us Americans. Just kidding.
I just really like Kent Hovind. He's taught me so much.
Yeah,
I mean, you picked a good teacher.
Yeah, he like taught me to read Pilgrim's Progress and all sorts of stuff. Like Abraham Lincoln, he talks about him, and he ends up being like a really good teacher as well. And he's just got so many good tools in his tool belt, if you know what I mean. So yeah, sorry.
All right. Well, it's good. And as I've said before, Seth, it's so unusual that, there are two Albertans here, not currently at the same time, but I will say that it is unusual because I've had a strange interest in that place ever since I was a child. And people would
Did you
ask me,
say Alberta? Sorry,
yeah,
I got
yeah,
Tourette syndrome. Sorry.
that's okay. Specifically Edmonton, but really the entire province. I've been to Calgary, I've been to Red Deer, I've been to Banff and Jasper, and I think it's a beautiful place. And like I said, people would say, "Why there?" I'd shrug and say, "I don't know." But but
The
it's
the
just,
mountains are nice, I can tell you that, but
oh yeah, they are. They're very nice, and just the prairie land is just the drive between the two cities is very pretty. Also, it's just beautiful countryside.
yeah, the country for sure, but I don't like Calgary. Too much smog personally, but
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like if you go at walking at night, like say like 2 or 3 in the morning, you can just feel the fresh air, completely different from all the other times
Mm,
a day. Yeah, and I live
yeah.
downtown on the 7th floor and feeling it all the time. It's not too
Well,
nice, but whatever.
Calgary. I mean, if you just look at the skyline, you'd think it's got 6 million people, even though it's only about what, one and a half. It's so weird how the Calgary, well, even Edmonton has a big skyline compared to other cities its size, but
Have you
not
ever been
quite.
to British Columbia?
No, no, I've seen lots of pictures and stuff. I've heard it's beautiful. I know it's beautiful.
Yeah, if when you get into Vancouver, it's got this really nice kind of rolling feeling where you just
Mm,
feel like just at peace. It's just going up these hills and down. I love it, but haven't been there for a while.
yeah, yeah, I
Yep.
know. And Vancouver has a relatively mild climate too, being on the ocean like that, being on the
That
Pacific.
too, but mostly I like the trees. Like there's so much oxygen there because the tree, it's like, I don't know, someone said it's built on a rainforest. I don't know if that's true, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Seth, I'm so sorry to hear that you have the smog problem there. The last time I was familiar with smog was when I was in Los Angeles or Chicago, and it's
Yeah.
just nice to have semi-clean air to breathe. I'm not saying all of it is. I did want to ask you one other question, and you don't have to answer it. It's not personal, maybe.
Oh, you can ask me anything. Go ahead.
Well,
You shut the.
oh, why? Uh,
Dustin, are you not aware that you're not muted?
No, this guy right here on this freaking. This guy's driving and screaming at people.
All right. Well, at some point down the road, we are going to address Dustin's road rage, but right now we'll get back to topic.
Wasn't me. It was this other guy. He's like flipping out, pointing at this guy. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why. Like that. I'm driving right now.
okay.
Dustin, I
Seth,
would suggest you leave that situation as quickly as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
my question is, I always like to see people's handles. By the way, my name is Faithful to Jesus. That's why the FTJ.
Oh,
I
nice.
see yours that says Seth 747. I'm thinking Seth must be your first name. Your picture is amazing. If in fact that is your picture, a lot of times people don't. If you look at Chuck's, he's got, who is that up there, Nero
Yeah,
or somebody?
it's my
So it looks
picture.
like
Oh,
Nero.
sweet. Okay, I see
Oh,
that.
okay. All right.
Mine is something that people rarely ever get to see. But Seth, your 747, does that number have a significance for you, or is it I know there's 747 airplanes. My curiosity just gets aroused by certain things like that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like
I
to know
think
things.
I think Google gave it to me. That's all. And Seth is my given name, but I renamed myself because my parents are Mormon and they're just confusing. So I just want to get away from all that history. So
Yeah, see, some people modify their names. Like, for instance, Samuel's real last name is Fork Minute.
Not Spoonhour. Now that's
I'm
funny.
kidding.
That was clever.
I named myself Mahershala Anipus, and I go by Anipus. Joseph Thompson. That's what I named myself. So,
Well, welcome to Ryan's broadcast, and I trust that you'll find everybody here amiable. Actually, I'm a 24-year-old. I'm 24, but my body has been here 80 years, so I'm still just 24. The one you see at the top of the screen is Father Charles. He is an Eastern Orthodox priest, not a Catholic priest. So we've got a very
okay.
good variety of people here.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'll try to keep my mouth shut because I tend to be kind of easily provoked into speaking.
I know the feeling.
All
Yeah,
right, so we're going to put
some
you
people-
in corner A, and we will keep Dustin in corner B.
Shouldn't
yeah,
he be in corner C all the way across the ring?
Faithful is a 24-year-old mentally, and I'm a 9-year-old mentally. So you'll.
Well, I'm 33, and apparently that's the age of maturity according to the Lord of the Rings books. So there you go.
Okay, I think, aren't you also that same age, Proverbs?
No, this August I turned 24. I'm sorry, 34. Oh, that hurts. Oh,
Actually, sorry, I'm 32. I forgot. I think I'm 32. I forget my age. I'm not even kidding you. But anyway, whatever. I'm born 1991.
rub it in my face, Seth. I'm still 34.
Oh my goodness,
Sorry.
Trump is gone, and you mean to tell me I'm still the oldest person in this room? Chronologically?
Seth, I don't know if I will ever go back to Alberta or when that would be, but if I do, it'd be good to meet up with you at Tim Hortons or something.
I would love to. I would love to.
Yeah, we could arrange that if it ever happens again. I think that the last time I went was sort of like the finale of my trips to Edmonton, because I was able to take someone with me who at that time was a very good close companion of mine, and I was able to take him with me, and we were able to go to Banff, and we were able to ride up Sulphur Mountain in the cable car, and it's just, I don't know if I can ever top that. It was really a wonderful trip.
Yeah. Usually it's the company. Sorry, that makes the scenery so good.
Well, yeah, because if you love a place and you can take someone with you and show it to them, it just makes it all the more memorable and all the more meaningful.
True.
And say, let me show you why I love this place. Let me introduce you to my friends that I have here. Let me show you the scenery here and stuff. But
That's how I feel about Victoria. Actually, like, two of my friends are resting in peace or in hell. I don't know. But two of my friends back in Victoria, back when I was kind of a rebel or whatever, they like committed suicide. But a lot of my friends live in Victoria on the island on the west coast. So there you go.
Yeah, Victoria, I've seen lots of pictures and videos. It looks like a very beautiful town also. But I think every place compares to Monroe, Wisconsin, in all honesty. I'm just kidding. I know you. I'm just trying to get you to talk, Samuel. You're not very talkative.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Uh-oh, I don't hear you. You might want to check your audio, Samuel. I'm not hearing you.
You may want to check in with Samuel Spoonhour also. He is also a honored guest this evening.
Well, I just got through talking about him. I was asking him to speak, and I think his audio was. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get. I said Samuel's not speaking.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said I was trying to get Samuel to talk.
Blame Father Chuck.
Samuel, what nationality are you with the last name Spoonhour? Was that German?
Well, first of all, is my mic working now?
Yes, it's a little bit low volume, but I do hear you.
Is that better?
Yeah. I hear you well now.
Okay. It's German. I'm 70% German.
Yeah, I thought
I
so.
have blonde hair. I have blue-green eyes. But people tell me all the time, like, "Oh, you have really nice blue eyes." I'm like, "Thank you." I thought they were blue-green, but okay, because blue and green are
Hey,
both
I'll take
dominant
blue.
traits. But
Right.
Yeah, mine are also blue green, and I do have a lot of German in me also.
Well, I was going to say spoon hour. If I missed that was German, then I need to go back to school or something. So anyway, cool. You just confirmed my suspicions.
yeah, I'm a German spy.
Chuck, I thought you were Greek.
That's
No,
Julius Caesar, man.
that's Julius Caesar. Okay. We were wondering who that was.
How come our friend from Greece never showed up? Father, are you sure you
I
sent
don't
that
know.
invite to the right address?
Believe me, all I had to do was write it in French, and it instantly went to his headquarters in Greece. I mean Greek, yes.
Can he read French?
No, I meant to say Greek, lady. Greek.
Thank you for calling me a lady.
Well, you are a lady.
You are quite welcome. I usually refer to ladies with lady.
And thank you to both of you. To get compliments out of either one of you is quite an honor.
Well,
See, I have a
there-
dry sense of humor too when I want to use it.
Samuel and Seth, why don't you guys also give Faithful a compliment? And Peter and Dustin, you guys line one up also. Spoonhauer, you have the floor.
Well, oh boy, I'm put on the spot. No, I mean I've never like personally met you, but you seem like a sweet lady, and I'm just glad to hear more about people who love the Lord and who want
Yeah.
to even just go around and tell people. I think that people at your age don't always have that kind of energy, and you definitely do. I want to say this in the nicest way as possible. I'm not trying to like call
Be
you
careful.
old.
No, I play the
but
old lady card when it's convenient, like
right.
getting my discounts and stuff like that. When I go to the store.
Uh-huh. But I really do love elderly people. There are a few at my church that they're just the sweetest ever. We have one lady, she's 86, and
Oh,
she has a hard time walking and even a lot of time just thinking, but man, she can just brighten up your day. Any time of the day, anything you're going through, she'll talk to you and she'll pray for you for something if you ask her.
This
Yeah,
is awkward,
just-
Samuel, but Faithful's actually only 24.
Yeah, I know. I forgot
I
about
am.
that.
Yeah.
I'm only 9.
And the story behind that, just real brief, is when I started traveling and I sold the house and gave everything away and so forth, and I started traveling. Physically, I felt well over 100, and my body was very broken. And as I kept following Jesus, traveling over 200,000 miles, visiting people and sleeping in my car, I noticed I was feeling better. So I went to like 35, and then I went down to about 26, and then 25, and I had to stop at 24, and I told everybody else why, and usually that gets a chuckle. If I go down below 22 and 23 are weird numbers. Nobody wants to be 21 again, and if I go below that, I can't buy wine.
Yeah, she explained
Uh,
that to me.
if I could say something, I would just like to say you sound very meek and understanding, and that you have a good sense of imagination, which is actually, I think, really healthy. That's about what I think I see anyway so far. But
Well, that's very kind of
Imagination
both
is a
of
very
you.
attractive trait.
yes, it is. There's too many people, anyway, don't use their imagination enough, I think, but that's my opinion.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was trying to show y'all
Thank you.
a
You're
picture
welcome.
That
on
was so kind of everybody. and I very much appreciate it. I think all of you young men, because you're all younger than I am, I think all of you young men are absolutely amazing. Interconnecting with people such as yourself, and especially the very very young men in the room, uh, to meet with and talk to you and see the intensity that you currently have in serving Jesus and going out and doing the things that you do. I think that it is absolutely amazing. And
Oh,
for
I love Jesus.
I will,
That's
and
wonderful
you
to hear,
know,
Steph.
I'd like to hear more about that. You had said you came out of the Mormon Church. You do not have to tell those type. You do not have to tell your story here. You can find me on Facebook. I can put the link in the chat if you'd like to,
Oh, sure, sure.
and that would be available for anyone. And if you would ever like to just chat and not on where the whole world or anybody that is looking at it, it's not necessarily the whole world, but you
Well,
understand, might be able to uh, talk, because there's things
Seth,
we
I
say in
mean,
public and there's things we don't say in public.
Seth,
Maybe
you being a
sometime. What?
as you being a first time guest here, I want you to feel like anything you want to share with us about you, feel free, because I don't necessarily
Okay,
have any other things scheduled other than I wanted to talk about
sure.
everyone's 9/11 experience. But go ahead, feel free to
And
share with us
but Ryan, my
anything.
apology. I didn't mean for him not to. I was just putting that out there for anybody, and that includes Samuel and anybody else.
And also, I want to add something else for anybody here at all. If you want us to pray for something that's going on in your life, just ask. I'll be happy to do it. I'll be happy. So go ahead,
Well,
Seth. Just feel free to share with us a
uh,
little more about you since it's your first time
I
here.
would like to say some things because I got like a lot of problems, but basically it's just like three big problems, which are like Tourette syndrome, general anxiety disorder, and what's the last one? Post-traumatic stress disorder. But together they kind of twist up, and I get all confused. And I got like this complex, which I'm trying to find verses to figure it out, but sometimes I think I'm like something special and it freaks me out. But you know what? The thing that scares me the most is Jesus' love. That's what really truly terrifies me, because it feels like moment to moment I could be breaking love, and Jesus is I don't know, his love is insane, and I'm scared of that because that's where my fellowship is, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I don't think his love should scare you. It should comfort you, Seth. I would think it.
It comforts me, but it scares me too, I think. I don't know. Like the fact that he like probably died for all our sins and
Yeah,
temptations, and like he's like the Mount Agar, right? And like he was in bondage, and we're the children of the promise, but it's easy to forget that.
You said probably, Seth. Is that something you question?
Probably which, sorry?
Well, you said probably he died for our sins.
Well, I know he died for our sins, but I don't know if he felt every like say I do something bad and then Jesus has to like be in torture for that bad thing. I don't know about that. Some people I think theorize that. So I don't want to get into that sort of
That's not
pattern.
that's not biblical.
No, Seth.
Well, I mean
Go
it
ahead,
says
Stephen.
that he had every temptation, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, he
Basically.
did, but after the crucifixion and resurrection, there was no more suffering for him. He's ascended to heaven. He's with the Father. They are one, and every time we sin, it grieves the Father. Christ is
Yeah.
grieved by it. The Holy Spirit in us is grieved by it, but
But
it's
like
not. They don't suffer. They don't hurt from it
if I
physically.
make if I make a mistake, like say I wander in out of the path of righteousness, and then my temptation is just like unsimilar to the rest of the patterns of the world, then I'm afraid in that scenario. But I know it's probably something I should just focus on, the love of Jesus and the promise that everything's gonna work out fine and I'll be fine. But it doesn't stop me from like trembling and stuff.
Do you see
Seth,
the
that's
I look
screen,
something
like
that I
Seth?
do understand.
I look like Tom Cruise. Oh
Father Charles
well,
thinks you look like Tom Cruise, so that's
I
good
hate
to know.
Tom Cruise actually. I think he
Oh,
probably is one of.
Okay, thumbs down for Chuck.
But don't
Seth,
don't don't worry about it, Chuck, because I don't care about appearance. So
Seth, Jesus does love you, and you obviously have a love and compassion for him. Uh, you have you have parents, correct?
yeah,
Okay,
I
all
got
right.
two parents.
And you have a good relationship with your parents, is that correct?
No, no, not at all.
All right.
I'm trying, but the more I try, the more I realize I have to let go.
Oh,
So
that's right. You left the Mormon Church. I understand that.
yeah,
All right. Uh, y-
no worries.
I
That's
know you
just
said.
my
I know
story.
you said. Well, that's all right. I know you
I,
said that you do not have any friends right now. Um,
I have one friend, but she lives in Colombia, so
all right. Well,
well, you've got a
mo-
bunch of friends right here, Seth.
you do.
amen, amen.
You're finding family here, and what I wanted to share with you is, uh, you did did you before you left the Mormon faith, and you're struggling now. When you were growing up, did you feel love and warmth from your mom and dad?
I felt charity, but no love.
All right. Well, the reason that you're struggling right now with being able to accept the love of Jesus, and the reason you're struggling with that
Oh, I
is
feel his
because
love. I just love him that I don't
I
want him to hurt for something that I caused. But maybe it's just, I don't know. If it's weird, you can leave it alone. I just, I get down these deep rabbit trails in my mind and can't seem
I
to let him go, shake him.
I understand that. Now, on the basis of where you are and knowing his love and the fact that you do love him, I can tell you that his love is unconditional. You understand what unconditional is?
Oh yeah,
It
I
means,
understand his love.
right.
I just want to be reciprocal, if that's what is the
Then
right word.
I also talk with a young man that does have, and I don't think that you have an illness. I think you, and people say you might be handicapped. I don't see you as handicapped, and I don't think anyone here sees you as handicapped. I think
Thanks.
I think we see you as someone that has challenges that we don't have, and because of the fact that you're able to come in and talk with us, and share your experiences, that means that have you're a very, very brave individual, and that you recognize where maybe you might be able to find some people that might understand you or be able to at least befriend or or be friends with you and
Yeah,
not treat you as an outcast or somebody that is handicapped. So all of us,
thanks.
there is another young man that comes in here. If you ever see him, sometimes he calls himself Boom Boom. Usually he's Gangster Ghost. And if the two of you come in together, you'll be able to communicate together. And the people in this room do understand him as well. So you're
Yeah,
not among strangers, and you're not among people that are going to think ill of you. The same way
thank
that
you.
we're receiving you here is the same way that Jesus receives you. And if you happen to say something that maybe we don't understand, or that maybe like a lot of times people here will get talking over one another or make a comment that maybe not might not be along with the subject.
Yeah,
We this group that's in this room tonight, everyone understands that, and we do not think ill, and we're not hurt and injured by
yeah,
it, because we understand that every single person in this room is on a different level, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So the same way that I'm talking to you right now and that Ryan is and others, the same way that we receive you right now is the exact same way that Jesus sees you when you might mess up. Just because you don't do something that you think he's going to get upset with, he's not, because he understands how he created you with the challenges that you're facing, and he understands
Yeah.
every challenge that you're facing. And just like we can understand that, he understands it even more. And it's difficult sometimes for people to understand how and comprehend how this person could love you that much, but he does. There was a time when I didn't even
You
know he
see, could I
existed.
say something? Could I say
Yes,
something real
please.
quick? Like I have a like I think both my friends might have had this. I can't really tell, but like they're gone now. I can't ask them. But anyway, I think I have some sort of like God complex, and like again, I was raised in the Mormon church, but I tend to find myself wandering when I'm in the Word of God, the Scriptures, wandering into the perception without non-willingly, but thinking that I'm the father of the Trinity, and that I look for answers, and I'm not really looking for answers from you. I just want you to be able to see where I'm coming from, because I'm looking for answers and I'm okay with them, but also I'm only going to look for the truth.
And the truth is
Um,
what you will find here.
can
Did you
I?
say that you felt like you were the father of the Trinity? Did I
I'm
hear you
sorry.
correctly?
I don't know. He's not answering, but I just Seth, you mentioned having PTSD. Do you care to share a little bit about that? You, only tell us what you feel comfortable telling us. But I myself, I've experienced PTSD also, and I'd be happy to share mine. Why that happens to, or has happened to me. It's not so much now, but in the past. You see, in 2019, I tried to show you my phone. There's a date on there. It's something I have printed out and put on my case at work. It says 2/13/19. And the reason that date matters to me is because that's when I was hurt very badly by someone that I loved, admittedly too much, more than I should have, more than Jesus. And so that's why Jesus had to chasten me so that I no longer will ever do that again. Love a person too much, put a person too high, too big in my heart. But I would see that person. It was someone I work with. And so I would see that person and I would experience something like PTSD. I would, oh, I'd be like that. I don't want to see that person. I don't want to see him. And so that went on for a long time. It doesn't really happen now, but it did for a long time. And so that I kind of understand a little bit. I noticed Seth has left the building, um, has left the room. I don't know. Faithful, do you think you asked him something that, because
Sometimes people, when they have the different uh, challenges that he said that he has,
yeah,
sometimes they get uncomfortable. And when they get uncomfortable, they will walk away from it rather than to stay in it. And
yeah,
Seth, if you are listening, please come back sometime when it's comfortable for you. If you did get my link, then you can contact me and we'll put you in touch with some really good people that will be your friend. And with that, I'm just going to mute my mic because I just have got a notice I have to take the trash out to the street so they can pick it up tomorrow.
okay. Well, yeah, if Seth, if you are listening and you're looking for friends, all of us here, and those that aren't here, who are normally a part of this group, we would be happy to be your friend, because everybody here loves Jesus, and we love people because Jesus loves people, and He loved us when we didn't deserve to be loved.
I don't
I certainly
necessarily
didn't.
know if we have to be friends with him though. Like, what if he prefers the red Cheetos over the blue ones?
What? I'm
Like, is
sorry.
it appropriate at any point to draw the line? Like, this guy could fancy McDonald's over Burger King, and you wouldn't be
Well,
homies? I
you
say we get
know,
to know him.
the only thing, the one thing that Burger King has over McDonald's is onion rings. You
Well,
can't get onion rings at McDonald's, but you can get them at Burger King. Every now and then I
that's
get a
true,
taste.
but
Uh, well, here we're going to start a big argument over Burger King versus. Well, what if someone came up
I
and
got
said
some
Wendy's?
verses. No, I'm
What if
just kidding.
someone said Wendy's?
Oh, Wendy's is actually pretty good,
uh,
but it's closer to Culver's. It's less like
Oh
McDonald's
wow,
and Burger King.
Culver's is way up here.
Oh yeah, it
Burger
just
King and
absolutely destroys everyone. I mean, I
wanna
better
Burger King
say
and
that.
McDonald's.
Do you
Burger
guys
King and
want to?
McDonald's are here in my book, and then Wendy's is here. Culver's is up here.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to hear a
I
funny
mean,
story involving Culver's?
sure.
So when I went up to uh, Tennessee to see
Hmm.
Nathaniel perform and meet Mary Nell, Ron Wyatt's widowed wife, and I got to hold the piece of Noah's Ark, my girlfriend really, really wanted to try a Culver's, and I knew nothing about it. And she just kept ranting and raving about how awesome it's supposed to be. So I assumed it was like a really fancy restaurant. Well, Ron Wyatt's wife wanted to go out to dinner with us after we visited. So I'm like, yeah, we'll take you to Culver's, thinking it was a nice place and not, fast food. And then she suddenly like decided she didn't want to go out after all, but wished us luck. And then we got there and found out, fast food.
I mean, it is fast food, but it's like up here. It's sort of like there's a chain in the Carolinas called Dario, and they have one in Thomasville, and it's a lot like Culver's, even as it's like upscale fast food. It's all of their restaurants have different architecture. They all look like diners from the 50s.
Look, it was an
Um,
awesome place and the food was fantastic. It's
yeah,
some of the best fast food I've had, but it's not the place I would have taken Ron Wyatt's wife.
yeah,
you
I know
know?
what you're saying. You would have taken them to a fancy sit down, where there's a
Yeah,
waiter or a waitress.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was it. But that's my funny story. I tried to take Ron Wyatt's wife to Culver's.
That's funny. Well, it's ironic that the only time I've so far been to a Culver's was in Tennessee, also in Knoxville. I went with the Buckinghams, and I haven't been to one since. There's a few fairly close to me, but they're still fairly new to it.
You
To
know,
Georgia.
there's one in Panama City.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm not going to drive to. I'm just saying. I mean, if I was in Panama City, I'd go there, but I'm not going to go to Panama City just to go there.
But you would
There's
go to
also one
Tennessee.
in Monroe.
Hmm. I'm sure there's one
Sorry.
in Monroe because they're probably all over Wisconsin, right, Sam?
Oh yeah. Oh, the
Yeah.
very first one that was made. I'm sorry, I interrupted
Yeah.
you, Proverbs guy, but
No, go ahead, please.
yeah, the first one. It's like an hour from here. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. For the life of me, I cannot remember where it was. Like if you look up, like where was the first Culver's, it's very it's very close. But I think I told you this, but my little brother works at Culver's, so
Okay.
I get a family discount. I kind of like have to compliment it. I don't have to, but I do love it. So
For a discount, I'll promote it on this channel.
it's only
Um,
family though.
Prairie du Sac is
Hey,
their
guys.
headquarters. Is that what their first one was?
I'm
Yes,
gonna
Stephanie.
I'm gonna hop up in here and get a bite to eat. I'm gonna drop
Okay.
off for a little bit because this place is a little loud.
Do come back because Achilles, I think, is going to stop by if we're not too late. And Father Charles
Okay.
is still out there hanging out with us. He's just been quiet, waiting for his opportunity to tell us what's what.
Okay, Sauk City. Does that sound familiar, Samuel? Sauk, Sauk City. That's the first location.
Yes, I've been to
Sauk-
Sauk City before.
Okay. And it was only 1984, so it's not that old a chain. It's not that old. but they are expanding everywhere. I'm hoping that one will be built in my area in the relatively near future. And if it does, I will be going there. But right now, there's not one close enough to me that I would go out of my way to go to it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, we, this all started when you talked about McDonald's and Burger King, Proverbs. But yeah, we do. I was very intrigued by Seth. Of course, you know, him being an Albertan had something to do with it. Oh wait, he's back. Seth, I see you there. We're glad you're back. Very glad to have you back because I wanted to hear more from you if you care to share. Are you able to speak, Seth? Well, I hope you can at least hear us if you can't speak to us. We hope that you can hear us. So I feel like we've made a new friend tonight, and that's good. So is anybody I don't mind ending this a little early unless someone else has something else they want to contribute.
I did want to say
Go ahead.
something.
Please, Samuel.
So
I've been trying to get you to talk all night.
I don't want to talk too much because I normally talk too much outside of being online. But something that Seth had brought up about how he doesn't want to displease Jesus. I can definitely relate to that, and I know my brother Steven can do that too. He dealt with that a lot of just trying not to displease the Lord. Just especially as a guy dealing with sexual temptation just constantly.
Yeah.
It's always a constant battle, especially at my age.
It is. Especially in today's society where it's all over the place.
Yeah, they literally bring it to you. You don't even have to search for it. They bring it to you.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So I like to go to a verse. I share this a lot while I'm out witnessing, or not just a verse, but verses.
Sorry about that.
Oh. Okay, we can hear you now. Sorry, go ahead, Sam. We'll get back to you in just a moment, Seth.
I was listening, but my phone died. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
But yeah, the verses that I like to share a lot are Matthew 11, 28 through 30. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light.
That is such a beautiful passage.
It literally is. Jesus is talking to the Jews who had the burden of the Pharisees adding upon God's law and adding their own traditions of men.
Yeah.
That was why he was telling them this, and he was saying it to the Jews, but the way that he says it, what he talks about himself, is that it's applicable to everyone, and ultimately it even when I trust him day in and day out, I can take any of my burdens to him, whatever it is. And even just because I used to really deal with like displeasing the Lord, and I even do sometimes, but I have to give my burden to Jesus. And every time I do, he helps me. And sometimes I just need to talk to him and just have a talk, just like lay everything out, and it helps me so much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
He will always listen.
Yeah. Well, basically, what I was gonna say real quick before I shut my mouth, I guess, is that I've been seeing miracles everywhere, and I don't know where it's coming from. Like, I don't know if this is coming from God or if it's coming from like something else, and I guess, I don't know if someone set something up in my life to make me think this way, but anyway, I'm just seeing miracles everywhere, and it's just happening so much that my mind is going absolutely different. Anyway,
Can you tell us about one of the miracles you've witnessed recently?
I don't know, that happens so much that
Yeah.
that I can't really even remember them. Like, I don't know. I saw some of the big things that I saw was like, I don't know. Well, I don't even know where to start. There's so much. Like, the thing that I've been so focused on is the word, but I'm even finding stuff in there. Like, and I've been seeing spirits, and I've, yeah, like spirits that definitely don't seem from this plane, and some of them seem good, some of them seem bad, and things just keep happening. I can't explain it. Like just my phone shutting off right there, and just everything on time, on time, on time, on time. That's part of it. And like as soon as I'm about to fall, all of a sudden something happens, and I'm like, it's almost like a headache, to be honest with you. But anyway,
Wow.
yeah, and I don't know where it's coming from. I'm being honest with you. I don't know what's going on, but I
I've
do
had
know
little
one.
things. You know, I've
Sorry.
had little things happen to me. Just a couple of months ago, I was driving down the street listening to the Three Heath Brothers, which is a Christian singing family that I've become friends with, and who blessed me tremendously with their music. They were singing their song "Into the Deep," and there's a line that says, "And I'm going in with Jesus, and I'm going in all the way." Well, I'm driving. See, I work for the Postal Service, so I'm driving my mail van. And right when they say the word Jesus in that song, my head goes like this. And I see a statue of Jesus in a cemetery that's on my route. It's like just instantly my head goes like this. It was almost involuntary.
Yeah.
And so I took that as just a sign that he was just reminding me that he's there, that he's just a little reminder. I'm here.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you, Jesus, for that little message, that little it's just a small thing. But you know, a small thing can be
Yeah, I'm not looking for miracles. I can tell you that much.
I
I'm not
wasn't.
looking for them, like, because we're not supposed to. But
Right. And I don't look for them. But when one happens like that one I just told you, I just say thank you, to him.
yeah,
Now you mentioned earlier about having PTSD. And I
okay.
told you about something that happened in my life back in 2019 that gave me PTSD. It gave me a fear to trust people, a fear to get too close to somebody because they might reject me. It gave me, it was somebody did something to me that I work with that every time I would see him, I would recoil, and I'd say, it's the pain that he inflicted on me. I'd feel it again, and I'd feel it again, and I'd feel it again, over and over and over again. I had to deal with that, but thankfully, God is bringing healing in that situation.
Yeah, I
He's
think I
really,
know which one that is. I've been seeing demons too, and that one
mm,
is I think the Pope. But anyway, I'm just being honest with you. The
mm,
current Pope. The other ones are human, but the current Pope, I think he's a demon. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff I've been reading Revelation, and things have been really happening. I'm not like I don't know if someone's pushing delusion on me, but the biggest thing I can tell you is that it seems that there's certain cities that have different sort of math programs in the spirits in the air, which is like the chemtrails they've been spraying. And anyway, in my city, they got a system where basically, if you're like, say, you're the Queen, or you're Bill Gates, or you're that Muslim guy or whatever, you just basically you listen, and then you speak or look or like just like focus basically, and then you kind of relax, like have peace, use your intuition. It's just like pretty much just listen, speak, intuition, and it just goes over and over and over again. It's like almost like the Queen and all these people have just been using this sorcery on people forever, and I'm watching it, the world around me, and I'm the only person who seems to notice it. But like one time I got someone out of it, he was just like freaked out because then I played a song. It was "The Power in the Blood," because I was like, well, might as well use this time to share Jesus. So I played that song, and then he was just like walked away, but it was kind of walking away in wisdom, like, okay, something just happened. But anyway, things are just happening, and I think that's where it comes to where it says there's a beast that there's on 7 mountains or something. I think there's like 7 different sort of electrical systems around the planet. And they each kind of have their own program. So depending where you are, you have to use something to get out of them or something. I don't even know. But I'm seeing it, and I'm looking at the Pope, and he looks like the guy who goes into perdition. I'm looking at the Queen. She looks like she's using whatever power. I'm looking at this one Muslim guy. He looks like he's going to be the false prophet. I'm looking at the leader of the Mormon Church. Looks like Satan in the flesh, the dragon.
Well,
anyway,
Seth, I'll tell you what. Can I just say a word of prayer? And
oh, sure.
Maybe we should probably go ahead and call it a night.
Oh, sure. Sorry. I don't know. This might be too much. I don't know if you believe what I'm saying or you disbelieve. Well, I don't care.
No, I don't mean to. No, I'm not trying to.
I'm just letting it off my chest. This is just catharsis. But I'll be more in the future.
Do you have a local church that you're a member of, Seth?
Yes, I just went to church on Sunday.
Good. And they're a Bible-believing church, and they're
Independent Fundamental Baptist.
Okay, and hopefully there's people there that can support you and be a friend to you. You know.
I don't know. It's really difficult. This city is like people are so bad in this city that it's hard to kind of see who your friends are because.
But I would hope that the ones in your church are good Christians that you can trust. I know there's plenty of bad people in churches. I know that, but hopefully
but they're all like soldiers, and I guess compassion maybe isn't the top of their priority, but that's all right. Like, I don't judge them. I just see that some people are more compassionate than others, and I think compassion is useful. Sympathy, not so much, but compassion is good. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to say a word of prayer. And
sure. Let's do it.
Looks like everybody's pretty much dropped out. Samuel.
I lost my camera.
Oh, okay.
It died on me.
Okay. It says EOS webcam utilities. I didn't know what that. All right. Well,
let's pray.
Samuel, would you like to pray or would you like me to pray?
We can both pray if you want
to. It's up to you. I would appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, go ahead, because I had an opening prayer. You can close us, Samuel.
Okay. Lord, I thank you so much for this opportunity to have this podcast. I pray that you'd use it for your glory and just help us all to be encouraged. Help us to seek you with all our hearts and to trust you more and more. May we bring our burdens to you and take your yoke upon us, and how easy and light it is, God. I pray that you would help Seth with these spiritual things that he's going through. And there are a lot of things we don't understand about that realm. And I ask that you just help him to trust in you through it all and seek you in all of it, God. And just bless Brother Ryan, bless this podcast, and that it would grow and more people would come and be impacted for your glory. And I ask all these things in your blessed name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Samuel. Brother Seth, it was great to meet you. And we
hope you'll come back again. And if you start seeing stuff like that, like I think there's a lot going on right now and people don't even realize it. And I'm just figuring it out, and I'm not lying to you, but I'll try to be more subtle in the future.
It's all right. It's all good. We just know that we love you.
Thanks. I love you too, brother.
You are loved. Absolutely.
Thanks.
And Samuel, I thank God for the day I just happened to stumble across your video on YouTube for some reason.
Praise God.
All right. Y'all take care. God bless y'all. Have a great night.
God bless you both.
God bless.